to another episode of Generational Investor live stream. And we are tuning in tonight because if you missed last week was just full engagement, people popping in and just chiming in. And last week, if you missed last week, we talked about the power of investing, and why. Why should you invest? With so much stuff going on in our world today, in our geopolitical arena, what's happening? Y'all come on in. We just kind of just breaking the ice tonight. Hit that thumbs up. Appreciate you for coming on in, and want to share with you just a recap on what the power of investing. If you missed last week's episode, the power of investing, and we're talking about why should you invest? And with what's going on in the political arena, you got all this inflation. That's been going on. You have layoffs. You have budget cuts. All these things are affecting the market. All these things are having the market going up and going down. It's been a lot of volatility this past week. Definitely has been a lot of volatility. When I say you look at the market tank, it crash, all asset classes, gold, silver, crypto, Bitcoin hit like 69K in about 3 or 4 days. It's been tanking. And so you got a lot of things that's been going on in the market. And just you think about, why should you invest? Because these jobs, they are laying people off left and right. They are really cutting. What's happening, dog? How you doing? We back in it. Hit that thumbs up. Appreciate you for taking the time out and join the live. Yes, sir. We are here. Yes. And if you just join us, we're talking about the power, just a recap from last week, the power of investing. Like, that's what, if you missed last week, just want to kind of catch you up and then talk about briefly what we're going to do more of a little part two. Yep. That's exactly why it's important to invest. So last week we talked about the power of investing. All right. So if you just missed the last week, and why should you invest? Because like you said, the job market, that's one of the reasons. They're cutting people left and right. Okay. You got people laid off, budget cuts. It's crazy out here in the job market. So that's one of the reasons to invest. Another reason to invest, we want to create that new money. Put new money in the chat. Definitely new money will be made this year. Not even just this year, for the next 3 to 4 years. You really think about it when you invest, of course. And then inflation. I talked about inflation. Think about how much rent mortgage is compared to, let's just say, like 3 to 4 years ago. If you take it back 6 years ago, back in 2020, during the pandemic, there was a lot of things that was going on. So all these are reasons to invest. Okay. And then if you got kids, you want to leave some type of wealth towards the next generation. They call it generational wealth. So all these are reasons to invest. And that's what I was hitting at last week. And then you say, Coach Flo, what do I need to do to invest? Okay, so what to invest? Talked about this last week. If you are a new investor, start with ETFs. I say ETFs because those are exchange trade funds. You got to do your research, but basically these are funds that have a basket of stocks, like individual stocks, the Teslas and the Microsofts and the Googles, all those stocks are in that index. So ETFs is the way to go. And on top of that, that's diversification. So you have your 9 to 5 and you don't have time to be really putting money into individual stocks. ETFs is the way to go. So ETFs, one of my favorite is SPMO. Okay. I have some for me, I have some for my son. You have VTI, you have VOO, QQQ, SPY. So those are popular ETFs. And then you want to get a little risky, then you can get you some Apple. Then you can get you some Google. You can get you some Nvidia. Okay. But start with the foundation. The foundation is ETFs. And then you're building up. You have individual stocks, things that you invest, things that you use, things that you patronize. Those are the things that you want to invest. And then share with my segment on where to invest. SoFi, you can start Robinhood, Fidelity, Webull, Moomoo. There's a lot of different brokerages out there that you can just start, put your information in. They make sure that you're a real person, Social Security, all that, just to make sure that you're a real person. And then you fund your account. And I've said in previous segments, most of these are zero commission. Okay. Zero commission that you can start today. Okay. So zero commission. So whether you want $1 or $5, you can start as little as $1, $5, and just start putting money into that brokerage. And that's when you can, once you fund your account, that's when you start to invest into these ETFs, into these individual stocks. And so that's why I shared last week the power to invest and why should we invest? Okay. Because I know we are taught these are things that some people weren't privy to. Okay. But I'm bringing to this platform because I want to create other generational investors like myself who are going to continue to just push the needle to the next level. And then, like I said, you got family. You want to carry that wealth and build that wealth towards the next generation. And that's where this whole generational investor came to play. Okay. So for those who are wondering where all that came to play, but the power to invest and the time is now. Some people might say, I don't have that much. That don't matter, because those who start with a little, if you consistently do it over time, then over time you'll see the compound interest, and that compound interest works wonders. They call that I want to say the eighth wonder of the world. Compound interest, definitely compound interest will change your life. And so bring it up to speed tonight. I was been praying and thinking about what can I piggyback or segue off of from last week of the power of investing. So what came to mind for me is self-investment. Okay. And why should you invest in yourself? And I got a few points I want to hit tonight. All right. So like I've said, let me see. Health is wealth. As we come into type health is wealth in the chat. Definitely health is wealth is in the chat tonight. Health is wealth is in the chat. For those who are jumping in, put health is wealth in the chat. So health. All right. So the first thing we want to talk about, all right, is investing in your spirit. Investing in your spirit. Okay. Investing in your spirit. And you say, Coach Flo, whoa, invest in my spirit. What you talking about? Investing in your spirit, reading devotions. All right. Reading and devotions. All right. So praying for you who broke her with your girlfriend tonight or just broke her recently. Prayers to you, sir. Prayers to you. So start with reading devotions. Okay. If you haven't been to church in a while, it might be the year. Yes. Might be the year God saying it's time to build up their relationship, build back their relationship for those who might have started and kind of fell off. Time to, yes, sir. Appreciate you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Let me know where you're from. Um, Attending church. Okay. Attending church tonight. All right. So start with reading devotion, attending weekly. Okay. Maybe, like I said, you haven't built your relationship where you wanted to go, and you saying like, I've been going through a lot of different things. You know, maybe like you said, Australia. That's what's up. You from Sydney? Definitely on my bucket list to go to Australia one day for sure. I got the passport ready. So you might saying, I ain't been church in a while. My life been upside down, and it's been not working out in my favor. It's not working in my favor. Maybe, just maybe. I'm not trying to push. Okay, that's what's up. All right, definitely perfect. Shout out to y'all out there. You might say, I haven't been. Hello, what's up? What's up? Might not been, your life been kind of up and down, and maybe 2025 was not your best year. Maybe 2025, because some people say 2025, it was it was trash for some. And so as we come into this year, 2026, maybe God is saying, commune with me. How about praying and meditating? Yeah, praying and meditating. That's what I want to talk about. Praying and meditating. And some people might think you have to say this conglomerous prayer and have all this elegant speech. God is just looking for your heart at the end of the day. Think about it. As much as I'm talking to you guys, that's how God is probably saying, that's how I want you to commune with me. Just be real. Speak from the heart. Speak from where your shortcomings at, and saying that you want to do better. Okay. So invest in your spirit for those who just coming in. We're talking about health is wealth and why you should invest in yourself. This is part of investing. Okay. Invest in your spirit. And you say, Lee, there she go. Hey. So prayer and meditation, invest in your spirit. And then let's take it a little bit step further, because it don't just stop there. How about your circle? How about Russia? Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. Shout out to Russia. What part of Russia? How about your circle? Who are you listening to? Who are you being around? Okay, those are a lot. They play a lot of things in our mind when it comes to our spirit, how we feel about ourselves. You can't choose your family, but you also can create a new one if your family might not be beneficial to you. Okay. So take that with a grain of salt, but sometimes God can cause separation from toxic people and places. All right. Toxic people and places. And you can identify with however, because everybody's situation is different. Some people might have a good upbringing. Some people might have a good support circle. But for those who don't have a good support circle, all right, that's what I'm talking about. And so you might have to separate. And it might not be for a long time. It might be for temporary, for a season. Okay. You just never know. Just saying. Investing in your spirit for those who just coming on in. We're talking about why should you invest in yourself? Invest in your spirit is one of them. Okay. And prayer and meditation. If you feeling stressed out, maybe God is saying, come talk to me. Ask me. The word comes to mind. Seek ye first in the kingdom. That's one of the scriptures. And my other one, lean not on your own understanding. Acknowledge God in all your ways. Okay. So That is investing your spirit. Let's talk about investing in your mind, because your mind is a powerful tool. It's a powerful tool. Somebody put it in the chat. Invest in your mind. Okay. And you have a lot of different resources out here. You have courses, you have skills and trades for those who want to go off to college. Shout out to you. I am a college graduate, but college ain't for everybody. But investing in your mind. I'm talking about webinars, taking out classes. Some of these classes you don't even have to pay. Some of these classes are actually for free. You have to do your research on them. Mentorships, you got trainings, you have therapy, counseling, all these resources invested in your mind. I'm telling you, when you invest in your brain, your life will change. When you invest in your brain, your life will change. Got to elevate our minds in 2026. It's only up from here, y'all. It's only up from here. So investing in your mind. You got a lot of distractions around us. We got different types of things that's on social media. We got these trends. You got things that's really just taking your time away, to be honest with you. Got knowledge in these books. And when you, depending on what type of books you're researching and doing your due diligence on, you're stimulating your mind and you are investing in your mind. And so I would say, like I've said to my students, got to start investing in your education, investing in your brain. Like I said, you invest in your brain, your life will change. Okay. So, and as we come into this year, gotta invest in your body. That's what I've been doing the first part of this year and will continue to do. Yep. Investing in your body. We got all these different things on these commercials that's throwing at us. Like I said, social media got where it is and where it at. Do this and do that. You got to do what's best for you and investing in your body. And you say, Coach Flo, how can I invest in my body? I'm glad you asked. Gotta start eating right. That is something I had to look my own self in the mirror and say, okay, I'm not eating bad per se, but I could be eating better. And so eating right. Okay. And drinking water. I always drink water, but drinking water, sometimes you can be dehydrated. You don't even know it. Okay. Cutting out the junk food, cutting out this fast food, this greasy stuff. I done seen so many different things on TikTok with people eating all kinds of stuff. I'm talking about putting Chipotle on pizza. Let that seep in. They got the cinnamon burger. The cinnamon burger. Man, it just got a lot of stuff that's like, when I look at it, I'm like, what in the world? And so invest in your body. Okay. That has a lot of impact on longevity. And if you're looking to create wealth and extend wealth and live a little bit longer, got to invest in your body. Okay. Exercising, working out, and being consistent. Okay. A lot of people I started. Yeah. That's what I said. I said the honey bun burger. The honey bun burger. I said, man, cold rush is 18 degrees out there. Man, that's cold. And so I'm like, the honey bun burger. That's just crazy, man. It's too much out here that's messing us up in the long run. So we gotta invest in our body. For sure. Yep. For sure. Time. Somebody put that in the chat. Definitely, time is the most valuable asset. That is definitely, especially depending on how old you are. Definitely how old you are. Time is the most, I think there's a lot of things when you look at time and you start realizing you can't get your time back, then you start having a different perspective about life. I think that's really what I've reflect back on as we in the 2026, looking back like 6 years ago, it was just the pandemic. Think about how the world has changed and think how it's continued to change and evolve. That's why time is the most valuable asset. And if you haven't thought about it, definitely investing is going to only appreciate assets. Assets is key. Like my shirt said, assets over liabilities. And so investing in your body, limit that stress. I know you might say, how can I limit that stress? Sometimes it's just good to remove yourself from stressful environments. Stressful environments. Might have to reevaluate. Lisa J, what's happening? Shout out to you. Appreciate for stopping by, Lisa J. Limiting your stress. So for those who jumping on in, we talking about investing in yourself. Health is wealth. Investing in your spirit. Investing in your mind. Investing in your body. Yes, definitely. And limit your stress. We have to limit our stress by being positive. Okay, being positive and get with the right circle. I'm listening to my boy Keenan Grace. Shout out to Keenan Grace. And get with the right circle. He talks about that all the time. Get with the right circle. Get with like-minded people. People who want what you want. Okay. Going where you see yourself going. Because you're going to have haters and you're going to have people who doubt you, people who don't believe in what you believe in. And that's generational wealth. Being debt free, all those things are possible, but you got to get with other people who believe what you believe, because sometimes you might be the only person who actually make it out, who make it out that environment, who made it out that stressful environment, who that person who graduated. You've been that person who got married. You might not seen it growing up with people, blended families, divorce rate so high, but you might be that person who set the record straight, and you pray be that person. And I pray that you are that person who creates generational wealth, who become a billionaire and who becomes a millionaire, who's able to pay off their house and pay off different types of loans and a credit card, because I'm looking to be that person. That's why I believe in generational investors, because I want to be the one who creates generational wealth, not just me, but my kids. Okay. And for those who believe like I believe, type in new money. I believe you guys will have new money this year in 2026, because you are limiting your stress. You are weaving out those who are distracting you, and you are putting your money to work. We got to start putting our money to work. That's the only way. We got to start putting our money to work. We work these 9 to 5s and work 8 to 10 hours, depending on what job sector you have. And it's only so much overtime. There's only so much salary that a job can pay you. But the stock market, there's an endless supply. And the thing about the stock market, it don't discriminate. It don't discriminate. Whether you black, white, Chinese, Indian, Hispanic, male, female, it don't matter. You put your money into these assets and watch your money start to really make you multiply you money. And so pay yourself first. Pay everybody else. You got to start paying yourself first. And whatever you can afford. I'm not going to say set a set amount. You might start out with $5, $10, 25, 50, $100. Just scale up. All right. Scale up. So definitely pay yourself first. Invest in yourself. So whatever dream you have, start to really put that to work 2026. New money. Put new money in the chat. That's what I want to talk about. New money. All right. So we got to create that new money. I'm going to create that new money. I actually been creating that new money. It ain't just started this year. Like I said, generation investors, we are on the move, and hopefully you believe like I believe. Type in believe. Believe. All right. So what everyone has planned as we want to close this segment out of part 2, which I got planned for the Super Bowl. Are y'all even watching the Super Bowl? Okay. Especially with maybe some of y'all teams didn't make the Super Bowl. So, got planned for the Super Bowl. In the chat. And just want to just recap. Like I said, health is wealth. Health is wealth. All right. And I believe and pray that health is wealth of you, your family, your finances, and all your dreams. All right. All your dreams. All right. That we are working towards to create new money. And if you ain't 2 live streams, yo, that's crazy. That's what's up. The show. I'm definitely check out one of them before the Super Bowl. And I'm gonna work on part 3. All right, part 3 of my next segment. All right, health is wealth. Show. Shout out to KJU. Yes, shout out to KGU. Definitely. Shout out to KGU. Sure. Appreciate y'all support for those who jumped on the live tonight. And like I said, we're gonna work on part 3. That I'm gonna pray about, see what part 3 entails too. But health is wealth, y'all. I really wanted y'all because a lot of people are going through a lot of different things in their bodies and their minds. So we really have to start investing in our bodies, invest in our minds, invest in our spirit, and really get around like-minded people. Because environments, depending on if it's a healthy environment, a lot of people are going through a lot of different things. So I pray for everybody on this live tonight that they was blessed, that they are encouraged, that they are uplifted, that they are empowered, whatever they are going through. God, I pray that you be with them and their families, be with them in their endeavors, in their situations, that you continue to lead them to you, whatever situation that they are struggling with and whatever answers they're looking for. You show them the way. In Jesus' name, amen. So I appreciate y'all, and I see you in the next one. Peace.